What's up, guys? We are back with another NECA Toys review, but we are taking a look at some new Turtles stuff this time. And no, it's not the set that everybody wants. It's not Bebop and Rocksteady. I have not found them just yet, but I got the rest of the Turtles stuff, and I honestly wasn't sure I was going to be getting any of this stuff. But then, well, they were there in front of me, and now they're here in front of me. So we've got 3 sets of Turtles to take a look at today. We've got a set of Turtles. So we've got Leo and Donnie here. And you can see that these guys come in the same kind of packaging that the first wave came in as far as the Target exclusive stuff goes. So you've got some very cartoon inspired artwork here. You've got the figures in the window. And then you've got product shots on the back, as well as a little bit of a write-up and a bio for the overall story. And you know, the big thing for this particular wave of figures is that if you missed the first wave, you can now get your Turtles and just get them in their own 2-packs. So we've got Leo and Donnie, and then you've got Mikey and RAPH in their own, and they of course have the same kind of packaging, same kind of setup, just different pictures on the back. And then, of course, one of the big things with Wave 1 was that you had to get foot soldiers in different 2-packs. So if you wanted 2, you had to buy 2 different 2-packs. But now, you can buy 1 2-pack and get yourself 2 foot soldiers. Why do I need more foot soldiers? Why do I need brighter green turtles? I have no idea, but we're going to take a look at them. So let's do it. Let's pull these guys out and take a look. And here they are out of the package. So we've got our 4 new, slightly different turtles, and we've got our new 2-pack of foot soldiers. You might be seeing more than 2 in this video because I've got 8 at this point. And I am pretty happy with this array of figures because it's not just one set. We've got 3 different box sets here. And for those of you that missed Wave 1, because, you know, let's be honest here, they were not really easy to get. In many cases, they were not really easy to get. This is a great way to go back and get these turtles because, honestly, I think these look really solid. They definitely pop under a brighter white light, too. As you can see here, they are very vibrant, very, very bright green. And you will never hear me disparage the NECA Foot Soldier because I think it is an amazing army builder type figure. And I'm really glad that they decided to throw those guys in a 2-pack. These are not, well, as far as the turtles go, they're not exactly the same figure. They're the same sculpt, paint's different, but they also include a few little extra things. Nothing too crazy, but they are not exactly just rehashing 100% the Wave 1 pack. So you get a little bit extra, mostly some goofy, funny stuff, which honestly, I really like. So let's take a look at Articulation real quick. We're going to single out a turtle and a foot soldier. We're going to take a look at see how they move, and then we're going to do some comparisons between the older turtles, just to give you an idea of exactly what is different here as far as the paint goes. So as far as the turtles go, my favorite Leo always gets singled out when it comes to picking one. So we're going to take a look at him and see how he moves around. So the head can look up a little bit, and it can look down. The neck does also move to help you aid in articulation. It doesn't give the widest range of motion just because of the overall size of the head, but he definitely moves pretty well. Certainly looks up good and looks down good. Your arms can go out at the shoulder, about that far. They rotate. You, of course, have to watch the shell. You're going to hit it, but you've got bicep swivel. You've also got your single rotating elbow. It gives you about 90 degrees. He's got vertical hinges on his wrist. So depending on the weapon style, the turtles have different hinges. Some have lateral, and then some have vertical, just depending on the hands you've got. You do have a little bit of inner shell articulation. There is a cut right around here. It's kind of hard to show on camera, and it doesn't really do a great deal, but you do have a little bit of kind of tilt side to side, and then a little bit of kind of wobble action almost. This is the only way to really describe it. It's not going to give you a crunch or anything because, well, that. His legs go out pretty much all the way. They do kick forward pretty good. The shell is a little pliable, so it will move a little bit. Kick his leg out and get a little further. They go backwards surprisingly a good bit, despite the fact you've got a shell in the way. There is a thigh cut up there. You've got double jointed knees. The knee pads are always going to get in the way when it comes to turtles, but it's not too bad here. It does give you at least 90 degrees. And then you've got rotation, and you've got a little hinge up and down, and then you've got a little bit of rocker at the ankle as well. So this is exactly the same figure that I've played with for, well, what, a few years now, but he still moves pretty well. I've never really had an issue getting these guys into any kind of dynamic poses. Now, as far as the foot soldier goes, he is definitely different compared to the turtle just because, well, he's more humanoid. He's not a human, obviously. Spoiler for those of you that never watched the cartoon, but he does move pretty well. So you've got a head that can look up,
really far down pretty good. It's just because of the neck. It makes it doesn't make it look like it's going all that far down, but it actually is going quite far. You do have tilt side to side, and then of course you can rotate it around if you want. Arms go out decently, but not fully 90 degrees. They rotate at the shoulder. You've got a bicep swivel. You've got double jointed elbows, give you more than 90 degrees. And then you've got, on the hands, you've got hinges and rotation, of course. He only has a waist twist. That's maybe the one fatal flaw when it comes to this guy, is he has no crunch. He's got no upper diaphragm or anything like that. He's just got a waist twist. Legs go out. If you want your foot soldier to do some splits, you can. They kick forward all the way. They kick backward all the way. You've got a thigh cut, double jointed knees. You've got boot cut, shin swivel, and then you've got rocker, and you've got hinge down at those ankles. It's a ball peg, so you pretty much got all the way around, and then you can rotate as well at the foot, and you've also got toe articulation. So this guy is pretty well articulated. He moves quite nicely, honestly. I've always been pretty happy with the way the foot soldier moved around, and you can get him into some really solid poses. Now, as far as the overall look and feel on these figures, that's where the biggest change occurs when it comes to this set of figures. The foot soldiers are basically the same thing we've gotten since 2017, which is perfectly fine. They should be. They're an army builder. These guys are a little bit different because, of course, they had to change things up a bit just so they weren't sending out the exact same figure for effectively the third time. So these guys are the same figures as far as sculpt goes, but the paint is where they are different. So a lot of folks seem to maybe don't know that the turtles haven't always been bright green. A lot of cross-sell, a lot of promotional art has always had the turtles being really bright, vibrant green, and they didn't start out that way. The toys certainly aren't that way, the vintage toys, and of course the cartoon was not that way. That's why the original figures that NECA put out were a darker green. They very much mimicked the look of the turtles from those early episodes, and I love that look. But a lot of people think of the turtles in a brighter, vibrant green sense, and that's what these are. These guys are your more cross-sell, promo art style of turtles. The stuff you see on like lunchboxes and folders and trapper keepers and book bags and damn near everything that's ever been made since the turtles came out, which is not a complaint. So you've got a difference in just appearance there. They look different. They are the same figures though. There's nothing new in terms of sculpt that I can really see, and that's not a negative either because I love these figures. They were an instant purchase for me back in 2017 when I had to quickly scoop them up during San Diego Comic-Con. This was a must-have set for me, and it's had a prominent place in my display ever since I got them home. And these guys are pretty much the same thing, just a little bit different, and I love the way these look. They still very much go for that cartoony style because they have a very simplified design. They are all the same outside of the head sculpts. They are a little bit different there. We'll talk about that. And then, of course, they do have unique sheaths and things like that on their shells. So Donatello, for example, has a place for his bow staff. Leonardo has a place for his swords, things like that. RAPH doesn't have anything, of course, and neither does Mikey, so you can kind of tuck them into their belts rather than have a actual spot for them. So these guys are exactly what you think they are. They're turtles, they're bright green, but they're very, very vibrant. And everything is really saturated. Everything also has a really matte finish on it too, which I really love when it comes to certain types of action figures, and I think NECA does a really good job of that here. They, of course, all have individualized belts, so L, M, R, D, for their various initials, and then you've got the different head sculpts. So it's mostly mostly, I should say. There are some subtle differences, but the big thing is the teeth. So that was always a thing with the vintage toys. So you've got a gritting teeth for Leo, and you can see both sides of the mouth show teeth. Mikey only shows it on one side here, and it's really, really minimal. RAPH shows it a little bit more, but on the other side, and then Donnie is very, very stern. He has no teeth showing. So you've got a little bit of difference here and there between the four turtles, and I think it just helps to give them a little bit more personality. It helps to make them not look so cookie cutter, although, that we obviously know who they are. But I think these look great. My preferred versions are probably still just the ones we got in Wave 1 and then the SDCC pack, just because I have a big fondness for that look from the cartoon. But these are great figures, and if you missed Wave 1, there is zero reason to not run out and get these, because you certainly will not be disappointed just because they happen to be a little bit brighter. Now, our foot soldiers they might be a little bit of a surprise when it comes to my personal preference when it comes to this particular line, because I love this foot soldier figure. From the minute I got that SDCC pack, I've been a big fan of it. I bought extras in Wave 1 and then sold off the turtles. And now I've got more. I'm up to 8, like I've already said. I don't know if I need 8 of these, but I really, really like this figure. Of course, it doesn't have an ab crunch, which I really think it needs, but honestly, that's not a deal breaker for me because I love the way that NECA interpreted this design into figure form. It's easily one of my favorite, like, generic bad guy, cannon fodder type of characters, just the minions. I love this design when it comes to foot soldiers. It's always been the one that I think of. Even though I love unequivocally the movie Foot Soldier, this is always what I think of. This goofy robot ninja thing that's covered in purple clothing, and it's just so cool. I love the way he looks. I think the lanky design really comes through. There is more of that kind of cel-shaded cartoon style design here. You can see there's like different tones of paint. So you've got kind of light purple to dark purple that kind of fades into the back, just to give you a little bit of an idea of shadow in play in certain ways, which I think is really cool. You've got the pads on the arms, and you've got the wraps here, which have more of that. Same on the legs, so there's this like delineation basically, where you've got the light on the front and the dark on the back, just to give you an idea of some like kind of depth of field and a little bit of shadow. You've got a really fantastic head sculpt. I think the heads on these guys are really great. The foot emblem is like a beacon on those guys because it's one of the odd colors out when it comes to this figure. You've got the yellow eyes and then that red foot, and it's just a great design. To me, it's a classic look, and it could just be the nostalgia talking, really, but I love the way this thing looks. And I think they really, really captured the idea behind this character from the show in figure form. And he's also really big too, especially in comparison to the turtles and in comparison to a lot of other lines as well. Just to give you an idea, here he is next to a Black Series figure, so the recent Wedge Antilles, standard 6-inch figure for the most part, and he is kind of dwarfed by them. They're not massive, but they're definitely bigger figures, and I think their size kind of comes through really, really well in this particular line. So if you're into army building, and I've said it before, I'm really not, but something about these makes me want to. I'm not going further than this than I already have. But to have a nice little crew of foot soldiers in this scale, at this size, with this level of detail is just right for me. Now, where things really get crazy is when it comes to accessories. And this is also where, well, things start to change just a little bit. It's pretty slight. So, of course, all 4 turtles have their standard weapons. So Mikey has his nunchucks. You do have a chain. It's plastic, though, and I could swear that the SDCC set was metal. We'll have to check. Leo has his katanas. RAPH has his sais. And Donnie has his bow staff. Donnie's bow staff is different from the SDCC set for sure. Same sculpt, but it doesn't have the same kind of paint on the wraps that one did. So they have exactly what you think they have. Standard weaponry. Leo can holster his swords. Donnie can holster his bow. You can put Mikey and RAPH's weapons in their belt. It's not as easy, but you can do it. And then they do come with a host of extra hands. And of course, all of them are interchangeable, and they come with an extra set of hands per turtle. So you do have 8 extra ones. RAPH is already using one. So you've got a set of open palm hands here. So just the 2 fingers out with the thumb out. You've got a set of kind of pointing but slightly gripping. So you could use this for smaller items or for pizza slices, things like that. You've got a set of thumbs up hands. These, I'm sure you can imagine, come with Michelangelo. And then you've also got a set specific for RAPH. You've got his sai holding hands where he holds the actual middle tine through his hands. So I love that pose. So he's already got one of those on right there. They do have other things though, and pretty much everything that we've got here came with the SDCC set and also with the Wave 1. There are some small changes though. So you've got things like, say, the pizza slice. And this guy is done up with some nasty cheese and pepperoni, very greasy looking slice, but it has a hole on it. So you can actually put it on RAPH's sai if you're, a little more graceful than I am. And it just sits on there and it kind of hangs on it, which I love. I think that's a fantastic little thing. You've got 2 closed turtle comms between the sets. So you've got those. You've also got 2 open turtle comms between the sets. You've got a mutagen canister, and this is different from the SDCC set for sure. It's not the same paint applications, That's not really a big thing, though. You've got Mikey's grappling hook, which, he kind of uses more and more as the show goes on. I would urge some caution with this thing. I actually broke mine right out of the box the first time. So the grapples actually open, and it's a great little piece. I love the sculpt on it. I love the paint. You've, of course, got the actual string. Just watch these pieces here. Don't snap them. The tolerance seemed kind of low on mine. And then Mikey's very unique thing that's kind of the thing with this guy. You've got the twirling nunchuck effect. So one of the nunchucks actually pops off. One of the handles pops off and you can stick it in there. And it looks like, he's kind of got a spinning effect going, which I really like. It gives a little more dynamic thing going on with him. But there are a few more things. And I need to do my research, I suppose, because I don't think that these were included in the Wave 1 sets. So you've got the pizza box that came with the San Diego set, but they're different. That set was a slightly different color. The actual box was a slightly different color, and it said weird on the back, I think is what it said. But this one, you've got Ninja Pizza, and we know NECA likes to do kind of little Easter egg things with stuff. This is definitely a nod to the very first episode of the cartoon, where they go into the Ninja Pizzeria, basically. So that's really awesome. And then you've got another one, too. So each set of turtles comes with one. They are the same, for all intents and purposes, except for the pizzeria. So this is Vinny's, and he is kind of a running thing throughout some of the episodes where Vinny is a character and he is a pizzeria owner. So you've kind of got stuff like that, which I think is fantastic because, well, turtles need their pizza, obviously, but they come with more really, really obscure stuff as well. Stuff that I did not know was in the box until, well, I got it out of the box. So to start with, you've got some paper products. It's really the best way to describe them. And you've got a handful of little things that give you just little things you can change up your display with. And they're all very much nods to certain cartoon episodes. So you've got like the turtle blimp blueprints that Donatello make up. So you've got those. You can have him hold those with those slightly gripping hands that he comes with, and these kind of give you the schematics for the blimp. You've got the ransom note for the newsgirls, for April and Irma, when they get kidnapped. And this is in the episode the big cufflink caper, I think is what this comes from. And it says, "We have the newsgirls come to the taffy factory at midnight and bring the buff links." So I instantly knew when I saw that what these were going to be. So this guy comes with the turtles, but they also come with a bunch of other little things. So like they come with these little comic books. This one is a Bugman, and Bugman is a character in the cartoon, and he's just another character, but he's called I can't remember what his name is right off the top of my head, honestly. His Brick Bradley, that's what his name is. His name is Brick Bradley, and he becomes the Bugman. So you've got one of those. You've also got a big bug-eyed Alien Invaders comic book, and that's from another one, too. This has got to be from the Zack and the Alien Invaders episode. I'm pretty sure they make a reference to this. So you've got stuff there. There's another Bugman comic book. And they all have little things on the back. Like this is Rondo Part 3. And the back of this one says Creepy Eddie 2, Eddie's Reprisal. And the back of this one says Willy Wombat's Pizza Pan Theater. So you've got really weird stuff like that. And you've also got a pizza punch card as well. So someone's entitled to a free pizza now. But that's not all that they come with, because you can see the other things that they come with in the box. And I didn't realize this at first, but you have these little cardboard, they're not cardboard, they're like cardstock cutouts of Bebop and Rocksteady with the mustache, so that you can actually set them up. They've got the little fold out pieces here, so you can have them set up on your shelf. I don't have my Bebop and Rocksteady yet, but I suppose I do. These are my first official NECA Bebop and Rocksteady. So I think that's really hilarious. This is the kind of stuff that I love that NECA throws in, and I've been rambling about turtle accessories for a really long time now. But you can see between the two sets, they are absolutely loaded, and even all the cool little stuff, like these little comic books. I was so excited to pull these out because it's just goofy and stupid, but it's so much fun, and it really elevates this set just quite a bit for me. The foot soldiers, however, are far easier and more quickly talked about when it comes to their accessories. They come with basically what they need, but they don't come with a ton of extra stuff. So you've got 2 extra sets of hands per figure. Obviously, I've changed these guys up a little bit because they are holding guns. So you get a set of gripping hands with each figure, and you also get a set of this open palm or karate chop style hand if you want to do something like that. So you've got 4 extra hands per foot soldier, so you get a total of 10 hands in the box. And then these guys come with these 3 guns. So you get the larger gun here, the 2-handed gun that has the kind of funnel at the end, and I love this particular gun. I think the sculpt on it is fantastic. It has that great cartoony paint job, so it's very, very stark in its colors. The lines are really well defined. You've got the pistol that the one in the middle is holding, so this guy can be held in, of course, one hand. Very, very white. It's stark in comparison to the other guns. It's a very cleaner looking gun. It's got some red accents on it, but still very, very foot soldier looking. And then you've got, lastly, this big guy over here that it can be held in 1 or 2 hands, and it's similar to this one in its color scheme, gray and then kind of a darker gray. This one I've always kind of had a problem with because it's awkward in the way it is held because of how the stock sits. You of course can compose it pretty well, but it always kind of gets in the way for me. Otherwise though, I love all 3 of these guns. I think that they made the right choice in including that third one, just to give you a little bit of leeway to change it up so they're not all holding exactly the same gun, so you don't have carbon copies of each other, but you can kind of mix it up a little bit and give them one of these 3 guns across their array of hands. And of course, here's the big thing. So you've got all of our turtles next to each other, and you can see some differences between the two. So you've got, like, Michelangelo has the different type of chains when it comes to his nunchucks. You've got the different belt buckles, the black on the new versus the gray on the old. Of course, the color palette in general is different, and then you've got things like Donatello having the wraps on his bow staff painted. But then there's also little subtle things, just like with the foot soldiers. The original turtles had that very shadow look going about them. They have lines where they get darker on the back versus the front. The new turtles don't have that, and the old turtles also have that on their masks, something that the new turtles do not. So it's not a huge thing, but it's definitely something. It's a little bit of a difference. So there is not a huge change between the 2 sets. It's just a color palette for the most part, but they are a little more different when you get them right next to each other than you might think at first glance. So overall, there's not a great deal more to say. I really like these figures. I'm a big fan of the foot soldiers. There's nothing more to say there. I think they're fantastic. I own way too many of them. The turtles are definitely different. They have a little bit more changed about them than I originally expected. Not just the color palette, but subtle things. And then you've got all of those little extras that they included in the box as far as accessories goes. The comic books, the blueprints, the cutouts of Bebop and Rocksteady. I think all of that is really fantastic. It's one of those little NECA things that they do just to kind of sweeten the pot a little bit. And I think that, you know, maybe if you even got Wave 1, you might still be interested in getting these anyway. But if you did not get Wave 1, now is the chance. Don't sleep on these. You will not regret it. These are fantastic cartoon turtles. So that's going to do it for this look at the NECA Toys Target exclusive TMNT and Foot Soldier 2-packs. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And until next time.